My dear brothers and sisters in Christ, this morning we listened to two important readings, and I'm tempted to comment on both of them, even though they are not so much related to each other. And the first reading, uh, I feel so much to talk about it because I think this is something that is happening even in our world today. Um, St. Paul talking about settling disputes before the judges. This is something that has gone on now for a very, very long time, right from the time of St. Paul. And now it is, and you begin to ask yourself, is there really no spirit of reconciliation? And I think this is what St. Paul talks about. What has happened to the love that we have for each other, the love that will push us to be reconciled with each other when we have issues with each other, that we could be able to sit down and talk about it or get a good mediator or a good person who could bring us together. And recently I've been following a lot about what happens in the court system, especially in the West. And I've been watching a particular judge called Judge Judy. It's not so much about a case, how she judges the things, but about the kind of cases she's handling. And most of the time you find a child bringing the mother to court, a brother bringing a sister to court, or even seen an extreme case of grandchildren bringing their grandparents to court for just $50, and they would wish, or they would even prefer that they get the money and lose the relationship. It doesn't really matter, and it tells us a lot about how much the world has regarded the value of money up and against relationships. It doesn't matter if you love me or not insofar as I have the money. It doesn't matter if I lose my parents insofar as I have the money. It doesn't matter if I lose my brother or my sister or my grandfather, the relationship that I have with them, insofar as I have the money. And you realize that people come to court for very little compensation. The highest would be about maybe $100, which is about, in pesos here, would be about 56,000. And that is the highest. There are some people who even come just for $50. And all is because they want the money, and then they lose the relationship. It doesn't matter, they don't care about it. And it tells us a lot about where the world is going and how meaningful this is for the world today, where everything is about money. Maybe I will be online after this, and maybe I don't know my audience, but just to say that there is a lot that we are losing in the world today because of money, because of power. And everything is lost. All the things that we used to regard as important, especially relationship and family, we are losing it because of money. It doesn't matter who hurts me, I take that person to court. The person has to pay me even if I lose the relationship with that person. And I just think that we are beginning to get the wrong priorities. And then we are losing the real gift of life. What can really make us to enjoy life besides the family? Nothing. And even if you have money without a family to spend with, what is that money worth for? Nothing. And it's really a pity. And St. Paul says it's a shame that brother would take a brother to court. The child would take his mother or her mother to court. I even watched another one where a mother was just pleading that she could be able to be allowed to stay in her own house, which she had written. She had written her will and written the name in the daughter's name, the title of the house in the daughter's name, because she knew she's old and she will soon die. And the daughter decided to evict her own mother and make her homeless because now the title is in her name. And the mother was only begging if she could stay in that house until she dies. And the child would refuse and say, I will not allow my mother to stay in her own house because this is her own sweat. Because of what? Money. Money. The money I'm getting from rent. So she prefers to evict her mother and let somebody stay there and pay rent and get the money. The relationship with the mother is gone. And the question we are left with is, where are we heading to with this kind of life if we do not have relationship? Relationship comes right down from the Father, from Jesus himself, the presence of the Father and the Holy Spirit, the Trinitarian relationship, the relationship that he builds with us when he comes into this world and makes us adopted sons and daughters of God through his death and resurrection. And there is nothing that can work without relationship. But money has come to prove to us that we need just money and nothing. And unfortunately, many people have followed that path. And it's really unfortunate because money is what is commanding the world. Once you have money, you have followers. Once you have money, you have power. Once you have money, anything you can do. But that is wrong. You have money, you don't have Jesus, you are nothing. Completely nothing. If you have money and you do not have God in your life, you don't have a relationship, you are nothing. I find even at times people sacrificing their own parents for rituals, spiritual rituals, in order to have money. And then you have this money, you spend it with who? And when you take your mother to court and you get the compensation, what are you going to spend that money with if it is not with your parents and your family? I think this is the wrong audience because in the Philippines we so much value family. We value relationship. The family is so important for us. I think I'm saying this because I think I have a bigger audience, especially online.